Hardcore Lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. It is Friday. It's still week 342, and man, I got a great opportunity to do a fill-in for Mikey Fish, who's got a long day at the office today, who needed some help, so I thought I'd jump right on that and spend a couple minutes talking about a movie that my brother Derek, the Boston Brando, right, kind of threw my way and said, man, you need to check this out. Everyone needs to see this. And so last night, it was getting to be about 12:30, and I thought, you know, with the review tomorrow and everything, why don't I just watch this, something totally brand new, and just spend a few minutes talking about something new. And it is new to me, and this movie is a freaking blast and a half. And let's see, the director, I hope I don't get this, Fabricio Bittar, I think. I'm probably butchering it, my apologies. It is a Brazilian film in Portuguese, and subtitled in American subtitle, right, so we can follow along, which I'm gonna get on that here in a minute, but and don't mind the distraction. This, I just got a little bit of my favorite band up there from the Seattle show way back in the old days, and but anyways, Ghost Killer. So checking this out late last night, and really what you got here is a group of YouTubers, self-proclaimed ghoul hunters, who their existence on YouTube is sort of coming to an end, and they're sort of grasping at straws and trying to figure out what to do. And you know, right at that moment, you know, rent is due and there's no money, and what are we gonna do? We've seen this set up somewhat before, right? This school calls looking for some help because they've apparently got a ghost running amok, who's attacked and maybe even killed a kid or two, and not that the school even believes in these guys can do anything. They're just hoping the hype of this group coming in will calm the parents, calm the kids, and all this stuff will just be sort of swept under the rug and be gone. So, you know, these guys have one last shot at redemption, so to speak, but they still think they're under the premise that they're going in and staging things and setting things up to look like they're actually doing something crazy, when in fact they will wander into something really freaking crazy. A ghost has been set loose, and man, she is freaking pissed, man. Right? So you got that. Now you've got a movie. It just feels like it stands on the shoulders of, you know, your early Peter Jackson days, your early Sam Raimi days with the Evil Dead, even Warcola, thinking Dead Snow. You see a lot of these movies sort of played homage to in this film. This film, man, is heavy, heavy, heavy on practical special effects, man. And when I say it gets bloody, it gets freaking bloody, man. Some of the practicals are so freaking great in this movie. The story is weak at parts, and maybe, you know, a few surprises for me. I think one was the movie really did, it's almost 2 hours long. I mean, not quite, maybe an hour and 45 minutes, maybe, I think. But it does feel long at points, and I'm not sure why the movie felt like it had to be as long as it was. But saying that, the amount of practical set pieces that we have really does shorten up the time, and some of the things that unfold are very, very, very fun. But the other thing that seemed to be annoying, I rarely ever have an issue with subtitles, and for whatever reason last night I was having an issue with subtitles, and I think probably because this movie was so soaked in special effects and practical effects that, man, I just wanted to keep my eyes on the screen. I didn't want to miss anything, and yet I'm having to look down and read the dialogue as it's unfolding, and so that just seemed a little distracting. But I don't want to pull anything away from this movie, man. You really have got to check this movie out if you have not seen it. And so, you know, they'll go in there, and the school basically sanctions off a couple staff members who are supposed to go along for the ride. They really don't ever, although they do get caught up in the situation. But our guys, really, it's a coming-of-age story for these guys, because they're facing for the first time something real. And, you know, it's going to launch a whole new era for these guys, and really, it's the birth of something, perhaps, for this group, this self-proclaimed ghoul hunters, right? Slash ghost killers, whatever. It's a play on probably Ghostbusters, I'm sure. But this is their moment. This is their moment, and they do. It's quite an adventure, to say. Just trying to think. The cinematography, man, seemed pretty slick, man. It looked good. It really looked good. The sound. I'm just thinking the sound. Now I had headphones in when I was watching, so I didn't want to wake anyone up in the middle of the night, and maybe that helped me actually jump a few times. There was a few times when I actually jumped up like dang. But it was. It's not the most concrete story in the world, but for what it's attempting to be, something out of the mold of the old great Peter Jackson era. I'm thinking Meet the Feebles or even Dead Alive. Seems there's nods at that. The early Evil Dead days, like I said, Dead Snow, and movies like that really went over the top on their practicals. This movie does the same. And now this movie may not be as solid as the movies I've referenced, man. Those are classics. Well, Dead Snow is sort of a coming along quick classic in its own right. But, you go back to Meet the Feebles days. These are just, the original Evil Dead 2. These are the classics, okay? But this movie, man, just to kind of give you an idea where it sort of puts itself into. Now, where can you see this movie? You can buy it on Amazon for like $20 DVD. The cover art is freaking awesome. It is really awesome. But you also can rent it for like $3.99 on both Prime and Vudu. And if $3.99 is not much for you to rent, I'd say check it out. Or if you have other means of checking this out, check it out. It does need to be seen. It is a fun movie, and just to see some of the practical effects, man, it was just like, there were so many WTF moments in this movie, and gag. This movie gets some awards for not only the work it does on its low budget with the practicals, but this movie gets awards for, man, I think there were multiple times that I just gagged. And I don't gag often, but there were moments I really seriously wanted to gag in this movie, and I don't know, maybe I was trying to snack a little bit while I was watching this movie, and that probably wasn't the greatest idea, because there were just a few things that hit me weird, and it was a little, I don't know. That doesn't happen very often. But Ghost Killers versus Bloody Mary, kind of a weird title. It's not one of those titles that just jumps out at you. I'll tell you, the other thing that surprised me was when I saw the Warner Brothers logo come up. I didn't realize they had a hand in producing this film. Sky Films has released it on DVD. And I'm sure most of us have at least a few titles from Sky Films. I want to say I have a tin, maybe, Texas Chainsaw Massacre from Sky Films, it seems like, that I picked up on the cheap at Walmart back in the day. I don't know what else to say. It's freaking, it's just a ride. It's one of those movies, man. It's just one of those movies. And if you're sort of in that Peter Jackson, Warcola sort of Sam Raimi niche in terms of over the top, just freaking pure fun, check this freaking movie out. Definitely, well worth it. And definitely, I'm definitely going to try to get my hands on a physical copy of this thing. But anyways, I hope everyone out there is staying safe and is staying healthy. Things are really getting more and more surreal and weird, seems like every single day. And so my prayers and my hopes go out to each and every single one of you. Just stay safe and take advantage while you're home, perhaps locked up. And I also want to throw a shout out to Will Cardinal, who's working in a hospital. Man, just stay safe, man. Stay safe while you're working in some really, really hazardous areas, man. But to everyone out there, right? And man, Derek, thank you for just sending this along my way, and so appreciate it. Man, y'all have a freaking great day. As always, I'm going to get back to some Metallica, but always, go Bills.